What's up, my family? How are you all? Welcome to the episode number 2. My name is Pratik Kale. I'm India's first marketing psychologist strategist, a self made digital marketer, and a founder of 1 Million Women podcast and Psychogyi. So, in today's episode, the guest is very close to my heart because it's my favorite, one of my favorite topic we're gonna talk about, and जो आपको पता चलेगा in थोड़ी देर में, and about the speaker. His name is Alok, okay? And Alok is a mental wellness expert. He is a co-founder of Eastern Mindfulness, and his company is leading mindfulness and self-development company, which provides programs of mindfulness to the individuals and corporate world, right? So I hope you will love this episode. You're gonna love this episode for sure. I'm telling you to watch till the end. For sure, you're gonna love it because it is gonna be an inner upgradation for yourself. So let me know in the comment box how was the video, and do you guys need any more videos like this? Yes. Hi Alok, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic, Pratik. First of all, thank you very much for having me here on this series. And I really appreciate and congratulate you for your efforts for having this one-on-one conversations. And I guess the times that we are going through, the ups and downs, and this challenge that we are facing, things have changed.
Right.
Algorithms have changed. Everything has changed.
Right.
And in this times of crisis, it's really important to connect, if not physically, virtually, and digitally. This would
Right.
really add perspective and meaning to each other's life. So thank you very much,
So
Pratik.
true. A warm welcome to you on behalf of Psychogyi and 1 Million Women podcast. And I personally thank you as my big brother, and a lot of gratitude to have your precious time with me and, to impact people via this mediums, YouTube and podcast. So I really thank you from my core of my heart.
It's my pleasure,
Okay.
Pratik.
So here's my first question to you. How did you start and why did you start Eastern Mindfulness?
Pratik, before I get into the process of how did and why did I do that,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll tell you what exactly this platform is about. This will add some
Sure.
perspective into why did it come into existence.
Okay, sure.
Now, when I talk about the nature of this platform, this is a self-developmental platform, right?
Okay.
Wherein we connect with organizations, wherein we connect with professionals and entrepreneurs and small businesses, MNCs as well, and we offer mindfulness-based processes and programs. Now, when we talk about mindfulness, this is a science, it's an incredible science. It's unfortunate that we are not able to understand or we are not still into it.
Right.
But if you look at the Western part of the globe, they have integrated it into various aspects of their lives, right? Right from the school, kindergarten to colleges and offices and prisons and hospitals and even the politicians, right? So they are into mindfulness. They understand how it can positively impact, to be precise, positively impact our psychology and our physiology. So this is what we give out to people so that they can take care of their mental, emotional, and physical resources. Now, we all know that if we are mentally fit, physically, it won't be a challenge.
True.
And if we are physically fit, anything is achievable. I very often tell this to people कि मन तंदुरुस्त होगा, मन स्वस्थ होगा तो तन तंदुरुस्त होगा, तन तंदुरुस्त होगा तो जीवन जबरदस्त होगा. And this is important. And now coming it to why. Now, after understanding what exactly it is, basically, Pratik, I come from a corporate background, wherein
Okay.
after working for 15 odd years with various different organizations, I started it in a conventional manner from sales and business development and hardcore marketing and business branding and stuff like that.
Right.
And on the foot experience, I was into conventional marketing earlier. I started very, very raw. And over a period of time, by observing and by learning and by getting good mentorships, I was able to develop myself. But still, what I was able to see is in my 15-year tenure that people are terribly suffering in terms of handling their mental and emotional resources.
True.
By that, what I mean is, but see, even you would agree on this, that everything is not in our control, right?
True.
Things are
Obviously.
not in our control. Hardly there are certain things which are in our control. Even our pets, our dogs and cats don't agree to what we are saying.
Right.
They do what they want to do. So we need to understand that we should only invest our time, energy, and our efforts in those things which are in our control.
Okay.
And what happens when we start controlling things which are not in our control, we will lose our potential. We will
True.
lose our mental stability. We'll become angry, irritated, frustrated, and that's not what we want. Right.
Mm.
So I was able to see people in various different hierarchical levels, my bosses, my clients, my team members, everyone going through these problems. And things go up and down. We have unexpected things happening
True.
because life is not a straight line. I usually tell this, it's a curve. We have our ups and we have our downs, right?
Right.
How do we hold ourselves right when things are not going as per our expectation? That's what is a tricky part.
Okay.
I recall what Les Brown, one of the most well-known motivational speakers, says,
Right.
that when things go wrong, don't go with them.
True.
What we do is when things go wrong, we go with them mentally,
Right.
emotionally, physically. We just go with them and we find ourselves in that slump and that emotional roller coaster and we are down, right? So somewhere, Pratik, I think that I was able to hold on to myself in a better way. And that is only because of the practice or the guidance or the mentorship that I received from certain masters, spiritual masters to be specific. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking about coaches or teachers, but spiritual masters who taught me certain processes and they took me through certain programs. I call this as self-enhancement and self-enrichment practices. And I was not doing it for anyone else. I was doing it for myself.
Okay.
Right from the age of 15, I've done it for myself. And somewhere I think that, somewhere I was able to see that I'm able to look at things from a different perspective. And during my college times or my work tenure, whenever we used to share these problems or queries or perceptions with people and friends and those, colleagues,
Right.
certain perspectives that I used to share did make sense to them. And that's when I thought, if these things really help me to hold myself right, my perceptions, my way of looking at things and people and situations, it's not that I don't have difficult times. I do have difficult times. Even I fall in pit. Even I get stressed. Even I get irritated. Even I get frustrated.
True.
But the only thing is, I don't choose to be there.
Yeah.
Right? People unknowingly choose to be there and they don't want to come out of that pit, and that's when things go wrong.
Right.
Now the first thing is, when you know that you are in a pit, and that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
80%, 90% of the people, they don't understand that they're in the pit.
Right.
Choosing to not be there, that's the second part. But the first thing is awareness.
True.
So I thought to myself that when I'm able to make sense out of things,
Right.
I can share this wisdom, I can help people out, that even they would get this kind of perspective and they can help themselves. Because
True.
I helping someone is a limited range of what we are talking about.
True. Yeah.
But when we empower someone, when and then they start helping themselves, that's a longer term perspective. So
True.
that's when we thought of coming up with Eastern Mindfulness as a platform. And
Awesome.
only because I connect with the corporate world, because I'm a product of a corporate world. I would say,
Yeah.
come from there.
Right.
That's the reason my first TG, the target group that we call it as,
Right.
was the corporate. And
Okay.
that's where I started connecting with organizations and
Awesome.
my clients. And that's how I started pitching out my services, to talk in the marketing terminology. I
Okay.
started pitching, saying that, see, this is what I'm offering. And people resonated with what
Mm.
I was offering, because
Yeah.
I know
Because you
I
are.
was,
Yeah. You had been through
I was
that.
nailing it. I
Awesome.
was nailing on the spot, and I knew that this is the problem and you need to handle it.
Yeah.
Because Pratik, if you see, if you're not mentally happy, we talk about happiness index, we talk about mental stability, right? If you're not mentally happy, you will not be productive at your
Right.
workplace,
Right.
right? I recall what Jeff Bezos rightly said. He said that when I'm happy at work, I come happy at home. I'm a happy father. I'm a happy husband. And
True.
everything is happy, happy later.
Right.
But if I'm not happy at work, I come disgruntled and I, showcase my irritation and frustration
Yeah.
on my wife, my children, my pets, and that's how the whole virality goes around.
So,
The
yeah.
whole
The
the
negativity.
next viral thing. Yes, yes, yes.
True.
So it's very much important that, and everything is connected if you see.
Right.
So that's why we came up with Eastern mindfulness.
Okay, awesome. Need to ask you, he'll, this leads to a one more question. How do you define a mindful person?
All right. So, Pratik, when we talk about mindfulness, let's not get into the jargons, but
Yeah.
as simple in the layman's perspective, mindfulness is nothing but pure awareness.
Okay.
Pure awareness. I'm not talking about awareness. I'm talking about pure awareness. Now,
Okay.
people would generally take it as the same thing. Awareness, pure awareness, kya farak hai? It's the same thing.
True.
But
Mhm.
there's a hell lot of difference between awareness and pure awareness. So let me give you an example. If I ask you right now, Pratik, just think of one person in your life whom you don't like. All
Okay.
right. One person in your life whom you don't like. Right.
Okay.
Now, as I asked you to think about this person, what happened is there are certain memories and certain experiences and certain perspectives
True.
that came in your mind when you thought about that person, right?
Right.
And those experiences, those memories, they define that person for you,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And that's the reason every time when you think about that person, there's a different kind of expression that comes on your face. There's a different kind of body language you adapt. There's a different kind of a talking pattern that comes out,
True.
right? There's different kind of emotional pattern that you go through whenever you think about that person. That means
Right.
when you think about that person, it is not the awareness, it's not the pure awareness of that person, but it is an adulterated awareness.
True.
What do I mean by adulterated awareness? It's not just the awareness of the person, but the awareness of the person is accompanied with those memories, with those preconceived notions about that person,
True.
right? And generally, what happens is if you see, Pratik, our life is nothing but it's a collage of such preconceived notions. Right from our childhood till now, the experiences that we have had, the knowledge that we have gained, the learnings that we have had, or whatever we have extracted from whatever we have seen, whatever we have heard,
Yeah.
and that becomes the collage of the meaning and that life we are living. So every time that things come in front of us, that person comes in front of us, that situation happens for us, we react in the same pattern.
True.
Right? Because we are reacting not to that person, we are reacting to our imagination or our meaning or our perception of that person. Right? It is rightly said that we don't react to a situation, we react to the meaning that we have given to the situation.
Okay.
Right? So that's what is called as adulterated awareness. Now, when you talk about a mindful person has pure awareness whenever he connects with a thing, with a person, or a situation. So, what do I mean by pure awareness? Pure awareness is looking at a thing as it is, looking at a person as it is,
So, can you give
looking
me
at
an
a
example?
situation as it is. Yes. All right. So, for example, let's say the pandemic. The pandemic is the best example to give. There have been a lot of crises in our life, right? Pandemic is not the first crisis.
True.
We have had a lot of crises. Even now, if we delete this entire pandemic example, we still had our own push and pulls. We still had our own ups and downs, right? Whether you talk about some natural calamity, whether you talk about some an economic crash, whether you talk about change in season, whether you talk about a digital transformation or technological advancement or industrial revolution, there has been a lot of crisis. For few it was crisis, for few it was an opportunity, right?
True. Yeah.
So now people who have suffered such crisis earlier, they will react and they will respond and they will act in the same manner as they have acted and reacted in the earlier way.
Right.
For example, if I suffered in some earlier crisis and something of the similar nature happens, I will start reacting in the similar way.
True.
my thought patterns, my emotional patterns. I'll start thinking about, "Arey yaar, ye kya ho gaya? Wapas, again the same thing has happened. Now again I'm going to suffer losses. Now again things will not go right. Now again this will happen. Now again that will happen." So now what is happening is I got infected by my earlier experiences.
Mm.
Right? I got infected by my earlier experiences. I'll give you another example. Now, let's say there's a person with whom you had a bitter experience a couple of years ago, right? It can be in business, it can be in friendship, it can be a part of a family and something happened. Now, the time went off, and now again that person came in your life, okay, by some or the other means. Now this time when you look at that person, what will happen is you will not look at that person as an empty canvas, but you will bring all those experiences back. He did to me this.
Right.
This is what happened. He spoke with me like this. He is the culprit. And then what happens is you start reacting, you start responding in the same manner. You
Right.
don't give a second chance. You don't look at that person in an
As
empty
a new
canvas
person. Yeah.
as a new person, or
Right.
you don't even look at the opportunities in terms of, okay, might be he has changed, might be there are some other possibilities that can happen. For
Right.
example, let's talk about the pandemic again. In this pandemic, there are certain possibilities that you can look at. Might be there are certain different things that I can explore. There are certain opportunities that I can look into. This is completely different. It doesn't mean that, if I suffered the earlier crisis, it's going to be the same. So a mindful person is a person who looks and who integrates awareness into things,
Yeah.
people, and situation from a different perspective altogether. There is
Okay.
no infection. There's no infected vision. So it's like, you have to throw away those infected glasses and you have to look at things from naked eyes.
All right.
Right?
So true.
So pure awareness is what we have to integrate. And this comes with practice, Pratik, because this is like, you're fighting against your brain, you're fighting against your natural biological wiring,
True.
because your brain wants you to be safe.
Right.
Your
Yeah.
brain doesn't want you to suffer again, right? You have suffered once, your brain doesn't want you to suffer again. That's the reason it pulls out all those perceptions, those experiences, and tells you, look, संभल इसने तेरे साथ ऐसा किया था, संभल जा.
Mm.
But now what you have to do is you have to train your mind, you have to train your brain to look at things as they are, not better than what they are, not worse than what they are. If you start looking at things better than what they are, you will become careless. If you start looking at things worse than what they are, then you will get into a panic mode. So
True.
you have to look at things, people, and situation as they are. And this comes with practice. The more
Okay.
we sweat during the time of peace, the less we bleed during the time of war. You
So
have to practice. Yes,
true.
Pratik.
Awesome. Okay. So this is amazing, but ki mindfulness, most of the people are not aware about this, and even according to me, unawareness is a major pain point in our world. We can say, people
It
are
is the
not
biggest
aware.
one.
Yeah, it's the biggest one.
It
And
is the biggest
so,
one.
did you think that you will be into all this ever from the childhood, or from the teenager part? Did you ever think that you are in the position right now, and would you be serving the country or the people like this in this way?
No, the answer is flat no.
Okay, but why so?
Pratik, the thing is, Pratik, the true personality that I carry, I'm an introvert. Honestly speaking, I'm an
Okay.
introvert. And that's the true personality. And let me tell you, Pratik, our true personalities, they don't change.
Right.
They don't change. You
Okay.
can adapt to different personalities. You can learn new behaviors. You can do that. You can switch from this personality to other as per the requirements. But the
Hmm.
true personality, the true nature of an individual never changes. वो वो डिफाइन करता है कि आप कैसे व्यक्ति हो.
Hmm.
आप
Okay.
कैसे व्यक्ति हो, वो आपका, that's your personality. So
Okay.
I am an introvert, and right from my childhood, I was very shy.
Okay.
Talking to people, I used to think twice and thrice,
Right.
right? And I used to avoid such instances where I used to, I had to talk to people or strangers, and I just run away from there. So in my
Okay.
school, I was an introvert. But you know what? Somewhere uh, when uh, I finished my school, and then I came to my college.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier college days, that's when you have to explore things. That's when you have to meet new people. That's when you have to travel the admission procedures, and you have to talk to many people. You have to go and take updates. And that's when, internet was not that very well developed in terms of, every now you have applications, you have everything online, right? But back then you had to physically go and see what's happening and everything. And then you get into college, you have new people around and new friend circle, and professors and stuff like that. So that's when I started opening up. I started learning new ways. And I'm a management student, basically.
Okay.
So I did my bachelor's of management studies, and then I did my master's of management studies. And when we are into management, there's a lot of presentations.
True.
There's a lot of public speaking which is involved as your projects and stuff like that. So that's when I started getting into that groove of talking to people and giving presentations. And that's where, Pratik, I realized something about me, that this is one of my strengths. This is
Okay.
one of my strengths, to talk to people.
Okay.
Because until and unless you don't try, you don't
Right.
know what
Right.
is there in the Pandora's box, right? You have to try, you have to open it up. And that's when I started talking to people, and I understood that, yes, I love talking to people, right?
Hmm.
But still, if given a choice that, you go and party hard, or be in your house alone, I would choose to be alone and
Nice.
self introspect and self reflect. But yes, my work demands that I talk to people, I connect to people. So that's what I choose. That's the kind of personality that I adapt to when it is required.
Okay.
But coming back to your question, no, I had not thought that I would be in this profession. But
Okay.
as I told you that, during my work tenure, this 15 years, when I saw
Hmm.
people suffering through this emotional and mental traumas, and this ups and downs, and this was really affecting them badly, Pratik. Because if you see, we play multiple roles, right? We are a father, a mother,
Yeah. So
a
true.
husband, wife. Then we become a boss. Then we become a colleague. Then we have a boss on our head. So there's so many different types of personalities that we switch, right? And
Right.
if one area is a pain point, that pain travels and spreads to various other areas and aspects of your life. So I was able to see people that they were getting affected negatively in various aspects of their life, because they were not able to handle things right in their workplace. So that's what was one of my motivation and one of my inspiration, because I used to see my colleagues, my best buddies at my work,
Right.
ki, people are going through divorce, people are going through some struggle in their relationships. They are not able to connect well with their children. They are not able to connect well with their bosses. They are not able to connect well with their clients, and the clients are bashing them, and they fall sick. I was not able to understand what's happening. At the same time, I was able to handle myself well. I was able to get a clear picture. I was able to look at glass that was half full and not half empty. So I thought
True.
that, let me at least help them somewhere, where they can handle their perceptions in a better way. So that was one of my motivation. And the second thing is, somewhere I knew that, yes, I have the strength of speaking to people. So why not combine these two things? And that became, the power source of
Okay.
coming up with this platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who is your role model?
Uh, Honestly speaking, this is a difficult question, Pratik, because I can say that I'm standing on the shoulders of various giants right now.
Okay.
So I have many people who have inspired me. Many
Okay.
people,
But
many people.
I would like to ask that point where, which was the turning point you thought that, he, nahi, I'm shifting this from this right now. So
Right,
for example, I got a turning point where I'm into digital marketing, and I got shifted from marketing plus psychology and mindset thing. So I combined
right,
both.
Right.
So, which was
Right.
that, turning point?
I get it. I get it. So basically, Pratik, you know, I have and I had various mentors in my life. So when I talk about mentors, I'm talking about spiritual masters, right?
Okay. Okay.
Who really guided me in terms of taking care of yourself. Because Pratik, we need to understand this. If you are not able to handle your thoughts and emotions and your resources, internal resources well, you will not be able to handle your external resources well.
Right. Okay.
Okay. अगर हम एक मकान की बात करें, when we talk about a bungalow or a building, right?
Right.
You just don't have to concentrate on what fixtures will you apply or what paint you will apply or what kind of fancy things that you will have on the external part. But the basic thing is the structure.
Hmm.
आप स्ट्रक्चर जो है वो कितना पावरफुल बिल्ड कर रहे हो, हाउ पावरफुल इज योर स्ट्रक्चर, that is very much important. Once the structure is powerful, it can hold on to any external beautification,
Right.
right?
True.
Similarly, when you also think about this bamboo plant, we all know it takes somewhere around 3 to 4 years just to spread its roots so that it can go way high,
Yeah.
right? For 3 to 4 years you'll not see anything sprouting up,
Mm.
but after 3 to 4 years, within few months you see an amazing height it picks up.
True.
So it's all about how grounded you are and what kind of strong structure are you holding within. So what I have learned from these masters of mine, I had number of them, right? And I'm blessed to have them in my life.
Right.
They always told me one thing, that internal strength is your true asset.
Mm.
Don't focus on what you have in terms of materialistic wealth, don't focus on what you're handling on the external, but internal, what you have, that's your true wealth. And once you are able to hold yourself well internally, externally nothing is impossible.
Okay.
So one of my masters, now here comes the answer to your question, what was the turning point. One of my masters, he asked me a question because he was sure about what I'm capable of doing,
Mm.
but he asked me one question: can you help others, can you help others with what you have in terms of what you have learned over these years? Can
Awesome.
you help others and try changing their lives? Because everyone is running in this rat race,
Right.
everyone is a part of this business world, this corporate world, everyone, and they are a part of this and they are doing this because they have to do it, they have no other choice. But you have something which is very special. You have something that you have gathered over this years with practice, with consistency, and with dedication, and with the help of this masters, with the help of me.
Right.
That's what I was told. So he just asked me one thing. He knew the answer, but he just asked me one thing: are you ready? Can you do this? Can you help people transform their lives? And that was you know the euphoric movement, or you can say the u-turn that happens in our lives.
Right.
And that's when I really gave a thought to it, that Pratik, yes, it's true that everyone is in the rat race, everyone is running,
Right.
right? Everyone is running for money, for fame, for wealth. But can I do something different? Can I help in terms of achieving their true potential, or helping them to have a smooth life journey?
Right.
I'm able to have it. Can I give them that? And I thought, yes. So I got the answer, and I got the intention what was being asked to me,
True.
because maybe that was a kind of direction that was given to me at that moment of time.
Right.
And I thought, nothing doing, no second thought, and this is what I'm here for. And as I told you, that there are two things. Number one, I was able to connect with what I was able to see when I was going through my work tenure,
True. Yeah.
as I told you. And the second thing is that I knew my strength, that I was able to speak to people, I was able to connect with them. And all these 3 points, they connected very well. The message that I was being given, my strength, and what I have experienced. So everything just connected at the right time. And I thought, let's take this
Let's
up.
do it. Okay. Awesome. Amazing. So, as it is a 1 million women podcast, I want to
Yeah,
ask this question. Can you please tell me more about your family and about your wife also? So, and
yeah,
how you both are connected? Again, how both you are managing this Eastern mindfulness, and what and how important role she's playing in your life, professionally also and personally also.
sure. So, Pratik, I have a younger brother, and my father is a businessman. He has his own setup. He runs his business, and he's running it from last 30 years or so, 35 years. So I, unfortunately, was not allowed in that whole space
Okay.
because somewhere my father thought that I wanted an easy route in my life after doing my bachelor's of management studies and MBA,
Right.
and even my friends for that matter, they used to tell me, "Arey, terko kya hai yaar? Matlab, you have a
Yeah.
family business. You can
True.
easily go and be there.
Yeah.
We have to find jobs and we have to do." But
Right.
at that moment of time, I thought, yes, I'm lucky. But
Mhm.
then I realized, no, I'm not, because I was I was kicked out,
Okay.
and
Okay.
but that was for my benefit only, and I really thank my father for that,
Okay.
because if I would have been there, I would have not realized my purpose in life. I would not have realized what I'm here for. I would not have been doing this, and I would not have been sitting right in front of you now. I would be, managing some back office thing or some kind of product or service.
Okay.
So I'm really grateful for that.
Okay.
And uh, about Gitanjali, my wife, we resonate beautifully on various different points. Now, when it comes to being introvert, even she's an introvert.
Yes.
So, so it never happens that she says that I want to go and party hard, and I say no, I want to stay home, and I just want to, work on myself. So if I say let's stay home
Mm,
and do something interesting, she would be like, yes, I was about to say the same. So,
mm.
we resonate on that level.
Right.
And this is very much important, Pratik, very much important.
Mhm.
When your marriage life is in sync, when you are able to connect with your better half, that's when the journey becomes easier and faster,
Right.
right? Otherwise, most of your energy is invested in the struggle.
Yeah.
So, in that ways, I'm really blessed that we are on the same boat, and we are, pushing the boat in the same direction. We are not struggling. And Gitanjali, she's a nutritionist, not a nutritionist. That's a small word for her, but she's more than that. But she understands the holistic wellness aspect,
Okay.
right? Uh, and she helps people in terms of understanding the nutrition, what goes in, right, in the body. Because as we talk about mental nutrition and we talk about physical nutrition, so I can put it in this way, that I help people with mental nutrition, and she helps people with physical
Physical
nutrition,
nutrition. Okay.
right? Because what we eat is
Right.
also very much important.
Yeah.
Jaisa ann vaisa man, we know that, right? So she helps with that,
Okay.
and she takes care of my food, my routine, and everything.
Right.
So it's like, I leave everything on her, and I'm just focused on my work. So she's very much important, because until and unless you don't have that support system, you'll not be able to work,
Right.
right?
So
So
true.
you want someone to hold you, and as it is rightly said, that behind every successful man there is a woman,
Yeah.
and that resonates beautifully in my case. So I have that support system, and I'm very thankful for her. And the best part is, as I told you, that you need to be aligned, and that's the biggest thing.
Right.
And in terms of the Eastern mindfulness thing, we keep on discussing, we keep on having this lot of brainstorming about how we can help, how we can come up with something interesting, how we can broaden our portfolio. And she gives a lot of inputs, because she's well read, she's well traveled, and she likes to connect with people.
Sure.
But wherein we have some valuable conversations, just like me. As I told you, we resonate very well.
Right.
So I get a lot of inputs from her as well, and at the same time we then churn out a lot of ideas, and that's how we come up with Eastern mindfulness offerings as well. So
Hmm.
as of now, we are working on various different programs, on applications as well, on
Nice.
digital courses as well. So there's lots which is lined up.
Okay.
And yes, not just taking care of the household, but
Hmm.
she supports me well in
Amazing.
my
Awesome.
initiatives as well.
I'm sure you both resonate very well, and one of the best
Yes.
couple I will ever meet. And again,
Thanks for
I would love to get her on the podcast on the next episode.
sure. Surely.
Okay.
We'll try that.
Okay. So
Yes.
I want to go a bit back, as you mentioned. Something happened in the past of yours when your dad and your brother was there, and when your dad did or some mistakes and something happened in between. I want to go deeper into that to know what exactly happened, what mistakes you have done or one of the family members have done, and I want to know how did you overcome that and how did you take that positively. And because most of many of the people, there are people who are kicked off from the house, or there are some happening in the family background kuch kharab rehta hai. Something happened between the mom dad, or the son child, or the son and parents, or the daughter or parents. So I want to have that message from you, that how did you overcome from that situation, and how did you take it positively, and right now as you are here, so how did you thought of that?
So, Pratik, from the negative point of view, there was nothing from a negative perspective that happened,
Mm-hmm.
to be very honest. But I guess my father was able to see that I'm getting into my comfort zone. you
Yeah.
know because I just finished my MBA, and then people see, generally what happens is, after your studies, then there's a lot of job hunting that happens, and you have campus interviews, and you want to just line up everywhere so that
True.
you get some kind of job, right? Because my father is a self-made man. He runs his organization, but he's a self-made man, and he understands what's the importance of learning and growing on yourself,
Right.
right? You have to grow on your own, and that's what will help you to last longer in terms of whatever you are doing.
True.
So, and the other thing is, what he really understood is, if I directly come and sit, be a part of the organization, I'll not learn, and I'll not get external experiences or an external vision in terms of what's happening on the outer side. And as we say, that the frog in a pond, I would be a frog in a pond, right? So that's when he told me, nothing doing, you are not a part of this. If you want to come here, you come on weekends, and just see what's happening. But you have to be outside, and you find a job for yourself.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, fine. And I somehow accepted that, and I started job hunting. I got a job, and I started with sales. Now,
Okay.
Pratik, as we all know, that whatever is taught in the books is not in the reality, right? Whatever we learn in the books is not what's happening on the streets.
Right.
So I went with the 4 P's: product, price, promotion, place, the Kotler book, and I went, and then I was like, no, things are not like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a reality shock for me, because I
Mm-hmm.
was in sales, and we had monthly targets, and with a noise mind, I don't know what's going to happen. What am I expected to do? What do I have to do every day? And how can I achieve these targets?
Mm-hmm.
Because now we are talking about hard money. How do you get that? How do you get conversions?
Right.
And it was a really tough time to me for me, Pratik, really tough, because um, conventional sales, you have to go on the streets, you have to be on your feet,
Yeah.
you have to go door to door, do whatever is expected, but you have to get in results on the table. You need to be productive,
Mm-hmm.
and this was super difficult for me, super challenging. I was planning to give up. I was planning to tell my dad, this is not happening for me. I'll just do anything else, but this is not happening for me. But somehow, Pratik, I had some kind of support from my colleagues at that moment of time. That
Mm-hmm.
was my first job. First job. I was raw. I had no idea of what's going to happen. But I had support of my colleagues who had experience,
Right.
colleagues who for whom it was like a second or third job. They told me, see, this is how it happens, this is what you have to do. And I'm really grateful for that, because you need to have some kind of support, you need to have some kind of guidance from the ones who have already gone through
Go
those
through this.
experiences. That will really help you give a perspective. And that's how I started learning. And that's what I'd like to tell people: be open to learning,
Mm-hmm.
be open, and always have an open mind in terms of picking up things and learning things from people, from situations, from things as well.
Mm-hmm.
The best part is that in our brain we have something called as mirror neurons,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
Mirror neurons are the neurons which helps us to replicate things which are happening in front of us, right? So if you see a person doing something, your mirror neurons will trigger and can empower you to do the same things within a short period of time, right? So
Right.
that's the kind of capability which our brain already has. The only thing is we have to initiate,
Mm.
right? Once you start initiating, the mirror neurons will do its job and you'll start learning. That's how learning takes place.
Okay.
That's how you master certain things. When you start learning, when you start observing, when you start integrating in your life, that's how you start learning. So I started learning from my colleagues. I started asking questions. When you ask more questions, you get more answers, right? When you start asking the right questions, you start getting the right answers.
True.
So that's how I started connecting with people. And I started learning new skills, and I started getting good at my job.
Okay.
uh, but that was not like a good thing that was happening. I never knew that there was something bitter which was waiting for me. Within few couple of months, I got to know that the organization where I was growing was about to get shut off,
Mm.
because there was some kind of problems happening in the top management which we never knew, because that all happens in closed cabins.
Right.
And then we got a notice that we are shutting off. And I was like, what's going on? Because I just prepared myself and I was on the right direction, and things are not going as per my expectation.
Mm.
But at that moment of time, I thought, when you are in that momentum, you don't like to stop. Momentum really helps you to go in the right direction. So I was in the
Okay.
right momentum. And that's when I thought, not an issue. If this is not happening for me, I'll keep on learning, I'll keep on updating myself, right? And that's how I started learning and updating myself from the digital perspective,
Mm-hmm.
right? And at that moment of time, I also started reading a lot,
Okay.
started updating myself with news and business news, economic times, and I was seeing how the trends are changing and how trends are shifting.
Mm-hmm.
I used to read newspaper from the West, and I saw that how bloggers, and that moment of time, blogging was not still in the
Right.
groove, but
Yeah.
blogging was a lot in the groove. So I read a lot of bloggers, and I saw how these people are, flipping everything into money,
Mm-hmm.
right? And digital marketing is what is the next thing. India
Right.
was not yet into digital world
True.
as it is right now. And then I explored in terms of SEO and what is SEO, basic SEO. And that moment of time, still, I don't know whether people would understand this, but still they were into those keywords and titles and descriptions. That's basic thing that people were looking at, right?
Right.
The basic optimization. But that's what I thought. If this is the trend, let me update myself. And that's how I started learning more about internet marketing in terms of social media as well. Social media was also not into a groove at that moment of time. That people came up with these ideas that connect your business with Facebook, connect your business with
Yeah.
Instagram, connect your business with Google Plus,
Mm.
for that location-based services
True.
and stuff like that.
Mm.
So, and I started adapting that. And now I was thinking that if I learn all this, where will I implement? Where will I implement? And I got one place
Okay.
where I can implement,
Okay.
as I was given that offer of weekends. You remember the weekend offer?
Okay.
So again, I turned back to my dad and I was like, say, listen, I have learned something, I'm learning something, I'm developing myself
Right.
on certain aspects, and I want an implementation ground. So he was kind enough to say that, okay, we have our company
Okay.
website, we have our company online properties.
Okay.
So what you can do is
So
you
what do
can
they do exactly? So sorry.
so my father is into healthcare business. He is
Okay.
into healthcare manufacturing, so
Okay.
external supports and healthcare manufacturing.
Okay. Okay.
And we had this online website, but it was more of a catalog website, because those
Mhm.
days catalog websites were what, they were running
Right.
5 page, 7 page.
Yeah.
And we had this catalog website, and I started implementing all my digital knowledge there, all the SEO that I'd learned, all the social media that I'd learned, and everything. I
Yeah.
started integrating social profiles. I created social profiles. And then all of a sudden I started seeing results on Google that, oh, we are ranking. And that was like,
Yeah.
if you can connect
Yeah.
for a digital marketing person, if you put a keyword and you see something on the first page, it's like a eureka moment. Yes, I have achieved it,
Yeah.
kind of,
Right.
right? And that what fueled me up, Pratik, to
Mhm.
learn more in terms of digital. And I started exploring social media marketing. I started exploring SEM,
Mhm.
right, and SEO and everything.
Okay.
And then I thought that if this is what I'm getting a knack of, why don't I shift my career from conventional marketing to digital marketing?
Mm.
And then I started finding job in that, because of course I had no full-time offer here still. So
Right.
so then I took a job. I took multiple jobs there.
Mhm.
And then I started working, so right from an executive level to I became a group manager. Then I
Okay.
became the product manager. Then that's how I scaled up. Then I was
Okay.
handling some real great brands, like I would not name the brands, but I was handling some top banking brands,
Okay.
top FMCG brands, for their digital initiatives, in terms of whether it is organic, whether it is
Mhm.
paid. So we were having those integrated efforts. So that became my forte then.
Okay.
Digital is the forte. So that's how it is. So from this entire experience, Pratik, what I learned was that, number one, never give up.
Hmm.
Never give up, because ups and downs are the part of life, and things don't go as per your expectation. Things don't go as per your expectation.
Mhm.
The Whatever is happening outside is not in your control, but how you react and how you respond is 200% in your control,
Right.
right? Because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow,
Sure.
but how you are going to react to that happening is
Mhm.
in your control.
Right.
So that's one thing. Number two is keep on updating yourself. That's what
Mhm.
I would like to tell people.
Right.
Because if you don't update yourself, you will be obsolete. And no one needs obsolete people. No one needs obsolete systems.
Mm.
No one needs obsolete things and processes. Who would like to use a Nokia 3310 today,
Right.
right? Everyone would like to have a smartphone with multiple functionalities. Who would like to use 1100 today, right? Everyone would like to use the latest phone. You need to update yourself.
Mm.
If you don't update your mobile iOS or your system, right, it becomes updated. It becomes out of date and it doesn't function well.
Right.
But people, they don't update themselves. So you
Mm.
have to keep on learning new things. If you keep on learning new things, if you keep on updating yourself, new opportunities will open for you,
Sure.
right? I recall this beautiful saying that it is better to be prepared and not have an opportunity, compared to having an opportunity and not being prepared.
Mm.
So you should keep on updating yourself. That's the second thing. The third thing is keep on learning. Learn as much as possible. Observe, be observant. When
Mhm.
you observe, that's when you learn automatically, because observation is our power. And as I talked about the mirror neurons, right? Just by observing, you can start learning,
Right.
because your mirror neurons will do the job for you. So keep on observing. Never give up. Never ever give up. And the last but not the least, what I'd like to say is believe in yourself. No one else, but believe in yourself.
Mm.
Because when people, there's a lot of mental virus around us. I'm not talking about the physical virus. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about the mental virus. By mental virus, what I'm saying is negative thoughts,
Mm.
negative emotions, and negative advice, and a lot of criticism. These all are viruses, mental viruses. Don't allow these viruses to affect you in a negative way.
Mm.
When you start knowing yourself well, when you know what you are capable of, nothing can ever kick you off,
Right. So true.
right? So in the playground of life, you don't have to be the football, you have to be the player. So that's what I'd like to say. So these are my learnings
Okay.
from whatever happened.
Hmm. Awesome.
Yes.
Amazing. So I can totally relate whatever you said. Almost 90 to 95%, even I have the same story. And I've gone through the same procedure. I've done so many jobs, and I've gone through so much hardships. You can say some of the days they are very, really, very, I can't say negative days, but yeah, a good experience days, must say.
But Pratik, that's what it is, right? That's what it is. Until and unless you don't crack up hard, you will not learn. You will not come out beautifully.
Right.
When we talk about diamonds, this is one of the most common examples which is given. I'm not
Mhm.
saying anything new. This is the most common example. The diamond go through a lot of pressure, a
Mm.
lot of hardships, and that's when they start shining beautifully, right?
So true. Yeah.
And if and that's the reason I'm really thankful to my dad. If I would be in that uh, the set business, if I would have got a cabin after my MBA, I would
Mm.
have not learned anything.
Right.
I would be in a cocoon. I would not have learned anything.
True.
But only because I went through these hardships, and they were really tough times, Pratik, really tough times. I
Mm.
mean, moving around, talking to people, random people,
I can feel
uh,
that.
right from right from 9 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. in the night, and wherever wherever you get that time, you eat your lunch.
True.
Wherever you sit, wherever you just have to keep the ball rolling,
Mm.
because you have pressure. You
Right.
have the top management pressure. You have to submit reports. You have to keep the numbers rolling.
Mm.
Whenever there are QBRs, you have to say what you have got on the
Yeah.
table, right? And
I know.
and and I'm really thankful in a way that I at that moment of time, maybe I was not feeling good. I was like, somewhere irritated that even after having a platform, why am I doing this?
Same
But
here.
today I'm really thankful
Yeah.
that whatever happened, that has
Yeah.
really cracked me up very well.
Same here. Because of that days, we are here. Same here.
Yes,
So
yes. and
I
and
want.
and Pratik, you know what,
Yeah. Yeah.
I also recall one thing. One of my some of my cousin, I don't remember who exactly, but she was my aunt basically. She told me that just try and give your 200% and work hard in those 25 to 30 years, and the rest of your life you will enjoy.
Mm.
But don't do the other way around.
Yeah.
The earlier years, don't just fly around
Enjoy.
and
Mm.
just pass your time and enjoy. Otherwise the later half would be super tough.
Tough. Mm.
So this is what the youngsters today need to understand as well.
True. Right.
Yeah.
So I want to come to your corporate part, in which
Yeah.
I want to ask you this question: that what are the major pain points in today's corporate world? As you can see right now, they are into work from home mode, and more again, some of the companies have shifted totally. Like one of my friend who is in IT, who is actually going every day in office today also. So, what are the major pain points of the corporate world, and how do you solve them by your programs?
um, Pratik, basically, if you see today's organizations, they are quite empathetic.
Hmm.
Over a period of time, the organizations have evolved. Why? Because the top management has evolved.
Right.
Now there's a lot of cultural differences and cultural adaptations. When I talk about differences in the sense, I'm comparing it to what it was earlier. But
Hmm.
now if you look at the organizations, we have evolved organizations. Now when I used to go, now this is the kind of sentence I have to use, not go but used to go, because of COVID, it's
Right.
all online, right?
Yeah.
So whenever we used to go to organizations for delivering our programs, we used to see organization having recreational areas and bunk beds to
Hmm.
have power naps,
Yeah.
and cafeteria and smoking areas. And
Indeed.
there's a lot of change that is happening, and organizations are becoming empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
The top management is becoming empathetic. There are open door policies. The top management, if you see, they are more friendly, they are more acceptive towards suggestions, they're
Mm.
empowering people. So in a way, I would say that it's a really good shift that I'm seeing in organizations today. It's not more of like a boss and an employee culture now.
Yeah.
It's more of an open discussions. This is really helping. And even now, as you rightly said, that everything has shifted work from home. Everything is
Mm.
happening work from home. And in a way, if you see, Pratik, people are enjoying it.
Mm.
People are enjoying it because you get your own space, you get your own comfort level. There is no time restrictions. You can set your time as per your comfort level, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can
Right.
get up early, you can sleep early, you can get up late, you can work till late hours.
Right.
It's completely your thing. And the second thing is traveling time is saved.
Yeah.
Traveling
Most important.
time, especially when we look at metropolitan cities or
Right.
cities like Mumbai, 3 hours of traveling every day,
Mm.
or more, maybe 4 hours of traveling every day, and you completely save that time. So in a way, if you see, I see a lot of positive changes and positive way in which organizations are blossoming right now.
Mm-hmm.
What we basically do is, as I told you, Pratik, about the internal infrastructure and the internal resources, we focus on internal resources.
Okay.
We don't focus on external resources, because external resources are plenty. You can have them. What about managing internal resources? So via our programs, via our webinars as of now, what we do is we focus on the internal resources, and those resources are your mental muscles.
Right.
Those resources are your attention, your awareness, your focus, your energy, and how you're aligning your mind, body, breath, so that you can connect well with whatever you are doing, whether
Okay.
it is your personal life, your professional life, your family life, your relationships. So when I talk about mindfulness programs, mindfulness is basically the basic knowledge or the wisdom. But via mindfulness,
Mm.
we take up topics like, we have work life balance, we have crisis management, we have leadership.
Awesome.
So there are so many such aspects that we look at. Emotional intelligence is one,
Right.
team building is another, rediscovering yourself is another. So and that is what is important as of now when we are going through this crisis.
Right.
So we, as I told you, that we focus on internal resources. When you are able to focus right, when you are able to become aware of yourself, automatically you will be able to handle things in the right way.
Right.
So that's what our programs focus on.
Awesome.
And we have a fixed policy in terms of our program. The anatomy of our program is such that we have theoretical explanations in which we clear out the concepts.
Okay.
Then we have an experiential aspect to it, in which we put those learnings into practice. Then we have a takeaway aspect of it, wherein even after the program, once the program is done, you should have something handy, something tangible that you can integrate, right then and there, so that you can
Right.
start seeing results. So it
Okay.
has to be that kind of a 360-degree experience.
Okay. So are they like, are they a few days workshop or a monthly or an, AMC or what exactly? How do you?
So yeah, so Pratik, basically, it's very much of an open, flexible thing, because
Okay.
every organization has different expectations and
Requirement. Yeah.
requirements,
Right.
right? Because the nature of all the organizations is different. The products and services they deal in, it's different. So our context, our content, they keep on changing as per the
The
organization.
requirements. Right.
And when I talk about the programs for lower level management, for mid level management, and top level management needs to be different. right? Because there are different perspectives and there are different points that we
Yeah.
connect to,
Yeah.
and different perspectives that we give to the top management. And it cannot be the same thing that we connect with the middle level management or the lower level management,
True.
right? So
Yeah.
the programs, they differ, and they're very much customized as per the requirement of the organization.
Mm.
So we do a back calculation, a back engineering, basically.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I will not take much of your time. We are already time up. So
Sure.
we'll have a last rapid fire round. Okay, in which you need to answer in one word or one sentence.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. So what is your favorite dish?
uh, I have a sweet tooth, so
Okay.
anything that is sweet, I'm happy with it.
Okay. Okay. So your favorite holiday destination?
um, Dubai,
Dubai.
my
Okay.
yes, favorite destination.
Okay. Uh, your favorite movie star?
um, Pankaj Tripathi, I love him.
Okay. Well, may I know
Pankaj
the reason?
Tripathi,
Reason?
because the kind of acting he does, he's not a bookish actor,
Right.
but he's an actor who is into his art, and he knows his craft very well. And
Awesome.
he just doesn't do superficial acting, but
Mm-hmm.
he gets into his character and understands the background of the character,
Right.
and then he starts portraying it in his own way. So I love the method that he follows, and
Okay.
I listen to his videos and audios whenever I get time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So one thing you want to change in this world?
um, the way people think about themselves,
Okay. Lovely.
because I guess that's the most important thing. When
Right.
you start underestimating yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you start demeaning your life.
Mm.
When you start
Good.
empowering yourself, that's when you take your life to the next level. So understanding yourself is the thing that I want to change. I
Change.
want people to change for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What would you do if you were invisible for a day?
uh, Really not thought of this.
Okay. Okay. The food item that you missed during the lockdown.
Honestly speaking, nothing, because my
Okay.
wife is such an amazing cook. And the kind of food that I get every day, not even once I thought that I need something from the restaurant.
Outside. Okay.
Honestly speaking, yes, she's an
Lovely.
amazing cook. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Here's come the. I guess this is from our past. How to answer? Why should we hire you?
Sorry, I don't get that question. Can you
So
repeat that?
so if someone goes for an interview, so how to
Right.
answer this question, which is why we should hire you?
Sure. This is an important question.
Right.
Now, I would like to tell people, whosoever are going for the interview, integrate this quality of empathy in you. Empathy. Now, what does empathy really mean? Empathy means understanding the other person's situation.
Mm-hmm.
For example, now what you have to do is put yourself in the employer's shoes, right? And now you have to hire someone, right? So, what you should do, what would you expect as an employer? You would expect that I get the best talent for my organization,
Right.
right? So what you have to do is, whenever you are going for an interview, you have to do your homework in terms of what the organization is, what kind of products or services the organizations that organization is offering,
Mm-hmm.
and what are the recent challenges that the organization is facing.
Okay.
Who is the competition? Now, when you understand these four aspects, right, what you can do is, then you can pinpoint the exact solution that the organization is looking out for.
Okay.
And what you do is, you have to support that particular solution with your um, strengths. So basically, when you're going to an organization and when a person asks you, the interviewer asks you, why should I hire you? Why should we hire you? Your answer should be, I come from this background and I know that what the organization is in. I know the competition and what the competition is doing well at, and where the organization should today and now focus on, and how can it focus on by doing this, and this. And I can help in achieving this, and this, because I have experience in this, and this in my past experience.
Excellent.
So now your answer becomes super relevant,
Right.
because you are addressing the need of the hour. Now, generally, what people do is when this question is asked that why should we hire you, people talk about their degrees and their education. As an employer, I don't want to know what's your experience or what's your education. For that matter, I don't even want to know what's your experience. I just want to know what you're capable of right now.
Right.
And that's what you need to give on the table. Basically, you have to empathize, nothing else. And Pratik, let me tell you, empathy is such a powerful, powerful quality. If we integrate it in our lives, we can take care of our work life, social life, relationships, everything. Because now you start looking at things and start thinking from their perspective.
Right.
And when you start doing that, you don't become selfish. You start giving solutions, right? And that's what world needs today, solutions.
Awesome.
Right.
Excellent. That's a true story, actually. Yeah. So, your one habit that you want to change?
Pratik, I'm a perfectionist by nature, and I want to change that till a certain level.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. When a person is perfectionist, right? Somewhere he or she starts taking more time to execute things.
Yeah.
Right. And perfection, waiting for perfection, there's nothing called as perfection. I know that, but because let me tell you, if the first iPhone that came up in the market, if it was perfect, we wouldn't have had iPhone 11 Pro today.
Right.
Because perfection is just a concept. It's an illusion. Perfection is an illusion. It's a long-term goal that we have set for ourselves, and that's what is keeping the ball rolling. But we are not going to achieve that ever, because it's just a concept. But yes, when you have that goal of perfection, you will improve yourself every day.
Okay.
Right? It's like a sun. You're not going to touch it. You're not going to grab it. You can see it. You can go in that direction, but you cannot touch it. So this is the thing that I want to change about myself. Yes, perfection really helps and it is really good, but delaying things and execution because of perfection, this is what somewhere hampers your productivity.
So true. Same here. I seek perfection, very badly.
I cannot do without perfection. I cannot.
Yeah,
I
same
will
here.
delay, but I'll.
Same here. My attitude is same. Like करना है तो perfect करना है, नहीं तो नहीं करना है.
Perfect na. Yes, yes. But the thing is, Pratik, what I have realized is, even though if it is not perfect, you do it.
Yeah,
because that's when you have started your play. Right? You can do some kind of tweaks. You can correct it over a period of time, but you do it. That's what is important.
Okay. What is your birth month?
25th August. 1986.
I was so sure that you are also an August born.
Even you, is it?
Yeah. I'm on, my birthday is 2nd August.
Oh, fantastic. I'm 25th.
Coming soon.
Great. Yes. Coming soon.
Okay. Amazing. So here comes the second last question. Describe yourself in 3 words.
In 3 words?
Yeah.
Growing and learning every day.
Lovely. Okay. So
don't count and here. So
I know.
and
okay. Okay. So it was lovely talking to you, Alok, and thank you so much once again for spreading
My
love
pleasure.
and happiness and so much of impactful session with us. And I want to ask you this last question, which I asked to each and every speaker. As you know that I'm on my mission to help 1 million women, to achieve their business and life goals. So what is your one liner advice or suggestion for my brand, for me, how I can improve or upgrade this thing?
Uh, Pratik, basically, we all have taglines for our businesses.
True.
We all have our vision boards and mission boards up right there.
Right.
The only thing is, what businesses need to do is try to put those things into action.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So you are already doing a good job. You have already started initiatives. You're already doing many things. But I'm just talking from a general perspective.
Right.
This can be answers to many different businesses as well, to many different entrepreneurs as well. Now, just having a vision board or a mission statement on LinkedIn or in your office would not impact lives.
Yeah.
Right? It would not impact lives. But when you start pouring things out, no matter what capacity you are doing, but start pouring things out and be consistent. That's very much important. Now, if I come up with a vision statement, a mission statement, very nice website, but within 6 months, I'm down there. I'll not be able to leave a mark anywhere, right? So what I would like to tell you, Pratik, is you're anyways doing a good job. You've started your journey. You are on the right path. You're doing things. You're putting your efforts. Just be consistent and try to spread out as much as possible. Right. And organic growth is what I would want you to focus on.
Okay.
Because paid are like, they're tiny shots and are quick shots.
Yeah.
But when we talk about organic, that's when people will remember you forever. And the thing is, when we talk about organic, there's a lot of effort that goes in. There's a lot of consistency that goes in. But when you are committed to your goal, when you are committed to your vision, this is a piece of cake for you, because then that becomes your life.
True.
You are not doing it for the camera. You're not doing it for the people. You're not doing it for someone who is watching you. You're doing it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Your vision, your mission should be a reflection of you. So just be dedicated the way you are right now, and be consistent, and just keep on spreading the light as you are doing right now. Consistency is the key, my friend.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Alok. And I can totally relate this thing because, I hate SEO. Okay. I never did SEO because that's a long-term thing. And I was into core social media ads thing. And when people used to ask me in my digital marketing career that what do you like, you do SEO or SEM? Well, I never do SEO. SEO is not for me. I never did SEO till now. I'm a digital marketer, 6+ years experience, but I never did SEO. Okay, so yeah, obviously, as you said that you're right, consistency is the most important part and role plays in each and everyone's life when it comes to life or professional life or personal life, and that becomes a habit, right? So yes, once again, thank you so much, Alok, for your precious time and spreading love and happiness and impactful session for this 1 million women's podcast and a YouTube channel, Psychogyi. And yes, we would be having one more session with you again in the future for sure, going deep into the mindfulness and emotional intelligence.
Sure, very much required in these days.
Right. Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Pratik. Thanks, Pratik. Thank you very much. Thanks.